Hi YouTube, welcome back. Today we're going to make blackberry jam. Stay tuned. I got 2 cases of blackberries. That's 24 little boxes that are 6 ounces each. So we are going to wash these up, separate any that are not good, and see what we have. I'm hoping to get enough to make 2 batches, one with pectin and one without. Because if you're using pectin, you have to use a lot of sugar, and I don't like to use a lot of sugar. So we're also going to try a low sugar version, old-fashioned type, where you just cook it down. Blackberries do have a lot of pectin in them. So if you want to make it without the powdered stuff from the store, you just have to cook it a lot longer. But first we got to see how much we have. So I'm going to get them washed, separated, and I'm going to get them mashed up with this wonderful little tool. It's actually meant for hamburger, but I think it will do a great job for this. Oh, so far so good. Things are going well. I still got this big bowl. It was full of berries before I crushed them down. Now it's still more than halfway full. And I also got this bowl that was almost full before I crushed them down. And I've only been working on this. I've got 4 cups of juice so far. Now the biggest problem with blackberries is the seeds for most people. They are very hard little seeds, and they're in every little bump or nodule, whatever they're called. So there's a lot of seeds in one berry. I do not have a food mill. I have these little strainers. We're going to have a very fruit butter type texture, but I'm hoping it'll still set more like a jam. Now, I tried this with just the spoon in this for a while, and it left a whole lot of pulp in with the seeds that wasn't coming out. So I threw everything back in the bowl except the juice that I already got out. And I hit it with the immersion blender, and now that's almost all seed from, well, about half of the bowl's worth. Because I had thrown all the seeds back in there before I did that. So you just want to put them in. You know, I've been doing like 3/4 of a cup at a time. Just plop it on in there and then spin it around and scrape until you've got mostly just seed left. Now, if you like the seeds, leave them in there. You'll be done a whole lot sooner. If you like it really chunky, then you just go from this stage where you just mash it up a little bit and straight into making the jam. If you like a little bit of seeds, you could do this with half of it and then mix it together and keep going. But again, I do not like the seeds. My kids don't like the seeds. My husband doesn't like the seeds. Nobody likes the seeds here. So, this is what I'm doing. It's taking longer, so I'm only going to get 1 batch done tonight. We'll have to do the other batch in the morning. So I'm going to do the fruit pectin, the powdered pectin version tonight. Well, we are ready to start making this jam. This is the pectin jam. I use the jar stuff. The recipe calls for 1 box, which is equivalent to 6 tablespoons of this stuff. Now, this is cold This is cold fruit puree, basically. And we are mixing the pectin in. Now, this is a recipe that I found online. I will, of course, link it below, like I always do, along with many other helpful resources, because like with all of my canning videos, I am not telling you how to do it. I am just showing you what I'm doing. Because sometimes I follow the rules and sometimes I don't. So I implore all of you to do your own due diligence, do your own research, and decide what's best for your family. Now this is the normal, these days normal, way to make jam. You use a box of pectin, a whole lot of sugar, and it doesn't take very long to make it. So we'll actually get most of this on camera. My other batch that I'm going to do in the morning will be the old-fashioned way, that before they had jarred pectin powder or liquid pectin or low sugar pectin, which the only time I used the low sugar pectin was the only time I had a jelly or jam that didn't set. So I don't use the low sugar pectin. I prefer fruit butters. If you've watched it before, if you've watched my canning videos before, you have already heard that a few times. But I like the fruit butters. It's easier, it's less sugar. I can throw them in the crock pot and go do other things. But this, you cannot leave the kitchen while you're doing this. It goes too quick. Now, recipes that I'd done with powdered pectin before had me mixing the pectin with a little bit of sugar to prevent clumping. But I was also adding it to warm fruit. This recipe, I'm adding it to cold fruit without sugar right now. We'll add the sugar later. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm trying to make sure all the lumps are out before I put it on the stove. A good trick to reduce the foaming that you can get is to add a little pat of butter. You don't need much, just like a little pat. This is when we're adding it. You just put it in there right now, and then when it boils, it won't foam so much. You still might get a little bit. If it bothers you, you can scrape it off. I usually don't even get enough to scrape out of there. So now we're going to put this on high. And in the meantime, I've got my sugar ready in a bowl. 7 cups of sugar to 5 cups of fruit. Which is why I don't care for these types of jams as much. It's just too much sugar. But this is going to take a minute, so we'll be back when it's ready. Now we are almost there. What you're looking for is a hard boil. If you see a hard boil, that means you're boiling until the bubbles don't stop when you stir it. It can't be stirred down. And we're just about there. Alright, definitely there. Now, we are adding all the sugar. Dropping our heat down to a medium. Spilling some down the side. Oh, there's the sizzle. Get it stirred in. And you're going to return to a hard boil once you get it all stirred in. And then you're going to boil it at a hard boil for 1 minute. And then you take it off the heat. You're ready to jar. Now this does not call for any lemon juice because blackberries don't need it. They're pretty acidic. Some fruit is a little low, so they'll have you put in a little bit of lemon juice. Some fruit is very low, and you need to put in a lot of lemon juice. Or other things, or mix it with another fruit that's more acidic. Alright, we've finally got all the sugar incorporated. Now we're just waiting for it to return to the boil. It is no longer getting stirred down. It is at a hard boil. So, set the timer for 1 minute. Alright, that's our timer. the heat. And now we jar it up. A lot of recipes or experts will tell you do 1 jar at a time, but I'm more comfortable with it at this point. And I'll pull out 3. I'll fill 2 and leave the funnel in the 3rd one, just so that the funnel's not making a big mess everywhere. You know, kind of like I am by dripping it. But you also got to do this kind of quick while it's hot. Since it's off the heat, you can't play around. 8 of the half-pint jars, 1 4-ounce jar, and then about 6 ounces or so in just a regular jar for the fridge to use first. A little bit more than I was expecting, but hey, that's alright. And if you're making jam or jelly or something like that, anything that's going to stain, you're going to make a mess. It's going to happen. I suggest like a paper towel or a nasty rag you don't like. And I did pretty good this time. So it just came up to a boil, so I've got the timer going. It's going to process for 10 minutes, and then we let it cool for a few minutes and pull them out, and it's all done. Well, alright, it's the next day. I went ahead and strained the rest of the blackberries, so I took all the seeds out. And I've got it cooking on the stove now. It's got to reduce down a whole lot because it's very thin. I put in, there's 6 cups of fruit. I put in 3 cups of sugar to start with. Don't know if it'll be enough. It tastes good right now, but as it reduces down, it might need more. Might find that was too much still, but it's going to be a while. Not even sure how long it's going to take. But I will let you know how long it does take, and I'll let you know if I add any more sugar or anything to it. But right now it's just 6 cups of blackberry juice and 3 cups of sugar. Well, after about 6 hours of it cooking on medium-low, it had reduced a good bit, but it wasn't getting hot enough. And I wasn't sure on the temperature. I was afraid of burning, so I was leaning more towards the cooler temperature. Well, I've turned it up to just under medium, and now it's boiling and bubbling, and we're going to test it. This is a little ceramic dish that was in the freezer. It's finally ready. It's not moving. It's not trying to close that gap back up. It's pretty thick. Alright. It's back down to low. Fill the jars like normal. And definitely not going to get as many jars because it's reduced down and it's got less sugar. So I'm going to get these jarred up. We'll be right back. 4 half-pint jars and 1 of these cute little 4-ounce jars. Just put them in the canner. Beautiful. Waiting for it to come up to a boil, and then they'll process 10 minutes, just like the first round. Well, I need to work on my old-fashioned jam making skills. I'm good with the pectin, the high sugar stuff, even though I don't really like it. I'm good with the fruit butters, but I need to work on the jam a little bit more. It worked, but I don't know. It didn't taste as good after I finally got it up to temp, so I'm not sure what I did. I gotta do my research and get more practice at that, but they're done. Thanks for coming along with me. And remember, life's an adventure. Thanks for joining me in mine. God bless.